Hi there, I'm Michelle Williams, and I am so glad you've decided to join me for this explainer. Whether you're a homeowner over 50, an adult child helping an aging parent, or you're just starting to look ahead to your own future, you are exactly in the right place. Today, we're going to just sit down and have a really important, gentle conversation about protecting your most valuable asset during long-term care planning. My goal is simple. I want to make sure you walk away from this feeling informed, empowered, and supported. So let's dive in together.
If you've spent any time at all talking with friends or family about aging and real estate, I bet you've come across one specific piece of advice. Have you ever been told to just sign your house over to your kids? It is incredibly common. In fact, it's usually shared warmly over a cup of coffee by well-meaning friends, neighbors, or relatives who truly just want the best for you.
The advice usually sounds a little something like this. Just sign your home over to your children before you need long-term care. Medicaid cannot touch it then. And I completely understand why people believe this. The logic feels airtight, doesn't it? Medicaid is a needs-based program, so if you no longer legally own your home, well, it can't be counted as your asset. It sounds like such a smart, proactive move. But I have to gently warn you, acting on this well-intentioned advice without professional guidance can unfortunately cost families everything.
There is a really sharp contrast between what we hope will happen and what actually happens. We all share this deeply understandable desire to proactively protect the family legacy by passing the home down to the kids. But the harsh reality is that the system anticipated this exact line of thinking decades ago. So rather than protecting the home, this action actually triggers a major Medicaid penalty.
You see, everything about how long-term care planning works basically hinges on one single number: 5. Medicaid built a very specific rule a long time ago to address property transfers, and understanding this number changes absolutely everything. Here is what that number represents. It's the 5-year look-back period. When you apply for Medicaid long-term care benefits in Illinois, the state conducts a comprehensive review of your financial history. They essentially pull out a magnifying glass and examine every single transaction from the 5 years right before your application. That includes gifts, transfers, and any property conveyances. And because giving your home to your children is legally viewed as a transfer, the state flags it immediately. Transferring your home within that window absolutely does not protect it. It triggers that penalty we just talked about.
It's really crucial to understand what this penalty actually is. It's not an automatic, forever disqualification. Rather, it's a period of ineligibility. Think of it as a mandatory waiting period. Illinois calculates this by dividing the value of the transferred property by the average monthly cost of nursing home care in the state. The result is the number of months you're required to wait before Medicaid will cover your care. And during this time, you are entirely responsible for paying your own care costs out of pocket, which can literally be thousands of dollars every single month. As you can imagine, the financial and emotional toll on a family can be just overwhelming.
Let's walk through a timeline together so you can see the trap that catches so many families completely off guard. Let's say in year 1, a family decides to be proactive and transfers the home to the children. Everything seems totally fine. But then, in year 4, which is within that 5-year window, a health crisis hits, and long-term care is suddenly required. Because they apply for Medicaid then, the penalty kicks in. Now, the family arrives at the worst possible moment. The parents no longer legally own the home, and they don't qualify for Medicaid yet because of the penalty. They face a devastating gap where they have no home and no Medicaid.
Now for part 2, Medicaid estate recovery. This is the rule nobody really talks about.
I want to gently pivot to this vital program to ensure you have the complete picture. Because while so many folks focus entirely on the 5-year look back, this part is often completely overlooked. Under this federal program, which is administered in Illinois, the state can seek reimbursement for long-term care costs from a person's estate after they pass away. Here is why this is so important. Even if a home transfer falls safely outside that 5-year window, if you retained certain rights in the property, the state might still have a claim on it later. So just looking at the look-back period alone simply isn't enough.
But don't worry, let's look at strategies that actually work. Proactive planning with the right tools.
I want you to take a deep breath. I know all of this can sound a bit heavy and overwhelming, but there is very good news here. Legitimate, highly effective planning tools absolutely do exist to protect your home. For example, an irrevocable Medicaid asset protection trust allows you to transfer your home into a trust while still retaining the right to live there.
We also have tools like transfer on death instruments, spend down strategies, caregiver agreements, and spousal protection rules. The right path for you depends entirely on your unique situation, and because these tools are permanent, they absolutely require careful drafting by an elder law attorney. And this brings us to how everything connects. As a seniors real estate specialist, or SRES, I don't provide legal or financial advice. What I do is help homeowners over 50 see the big picture. Real estate is rarely just a real estate decision at this stage of life, right? Your home is likely your largest asset. It's like a giant puzzle. I help bridge the gap, showing you how your property decisions are deeply connected to your long-term care planning and making sure you ask the right questions early on. So let's look at a few simple, low-pressure next steps to build a solid foundation for your peace of mind. First, I highly recommend reading AARP's Guide to Medicaid Planning. It provides a wonderful, easy-to-read overview. Second, please consult an elder law attorney before transferring any property. A 1-hour consultation costs far less than the penalty period it might prevent. And finally, work with an SRES to seamlessly connect your real estate choices with those broader legal and financial goals.
Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Protecting your home starts with accurate information, and I just want to ensure you have everything you need. You truly don't have to navigate this transition alone. I warmly invite you to visit the Homeowners 50+ page, where I've put together a completely free resource library packed with guides on downsizing and financial planning. Until next time, take care of yourself, start your planning early, and remember, I'm always here to help you find the right path forward.